Hi, so this is a follow-up video on the Leonardo pen. In my unboxing, I said I would come back in 1 month and do a follow-up review. Well, it's been 2 months. So this is a 2 month follow-up review pen video. So I've been using this for almost every day. Actually, I've been using it for every day because I made sure to use it every day because I wanted to do a proper review. Even though technically it's only been 2 months, but I think I have learned quite a bit about it. So I picked this up because of word layout. Hers was a vibrant, pretty design. Mine is a bit more. The Alumina is a bit more minimalistic industrial design. The pilot to boring bug definitely got to me. I feel like now I mostly like some minimalistic designs which have something extra to them. It's either a very strong, good nib, or if it's above the body, then I need the body to be something different. I felt like the regular Mementos with the steel nibs, I don't know, something about them just didn't catch my eye. But this is a proper full metal pen. So it is a hefty pen. It's 44 grams without the ink. I think it holds about a milliliter of ink on the high side. So if you ink it up, I think is maximum going to be 45 grams. So I think if you don't like hefty pens, if your hand gets tired easily, then this pen is definitely not for you. In terms of the size, here is a preppy, so it's quite comparable to a preppy in terms of length. And here's a Kakuno in terms of length again, not in terms of width. I don't know, not in terms of like the diameter, because these are quite skinny. All of them, even the lamy, they're all quite skinny. This is a thicker pen. I don't know what else to say. The diameter is quite wide. And when you hold it, it has a little bit of a hourglass, but like angled hourglass. It's not like curved. It is comfortable to write. And I have written, I think the longest session was 40 minutes. And then I took a 15-minute break, and then I started writing again for 30 minutes. That's the longest I wrote with it. I was taking notes. So far, I have inked it with 2 Urban inks, one Eclat de Saphir and Pearl Noir. Both with this was a wet writing experience. Those 2 inks, in my experience, are medium flow inks, but this is a wet writing pen, so it was putting a lot of ink on paper. For Pearl Noir, for Sapphire, it was kind of not as much, but still, since it's a wet writing pen and it puts a lot of ink on paper, the ink doesn't dry fast. It's a slow drying, it was annoying me so much when I was note taking because the pages weren't drying. But I had started writing with it and I wanted to continue. But after that session of 90-minute session, I didn't pick this pen up for note taking again with that ink combination. Currently, I have it inked with Diamond Celadon Cat, which again, in my experience, that ink is a dry ink. But even with the dry ink, it still puts out quite a bit of ink on paper. So it still takes a little bit more time for drying than what I prefer. I kind of want to ink it with Shukuro, but it's a very expensive pen and I think I want to use it a bit more before I put Shukuro in it. I mentioned Shukuro because it's a fast drying ink. And since this is a wet pen, I need a fast drying ink in it if I have to take notes, which I do want to because it was a really nice note taking experience and I wanted to study because I wanted to use this pen. So anything to help you study, It's just that the ink that I had in this was not jiving well with my note taking because I write fast and I am a very impatient person. So if I have to sit and let the ink dry, my mind has already run off. I have zero focus. My mind has already run off to 10 different topics. So I think I'm going to ink it up with carbon black next. It's not a fast drying ink, but comparatively it's slightly faster. Now that I have it inked with a dry diamond Celadon, it has a toothier feedback. So it's not as toothy as my Esterbrook Fine. That really, it's like you're really putting a pencil to paper kind of noise, you know? I like it. I like the experience. It's just that I don't love it as much. It's not that smooth music to ear sailor feedback, but this is kind of in the middle of those two. So there is some, like you are putting nib to paper, you can feel it. I would say it's more tactile feedback. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So it does feel like you're writing on paper. It's not gliding all over like the Pilot Capless or Vanishing Point, but it's also not like the Esterbrook Fine either. But with the two Urbanics that I had, it didn't give me as much of a feedback. So next, either I'll ink it with Iroshizuku for a wet on wet experience and see how it works. I think it'll just glide all over the page. But that's a plan that I want to do, and I'm going to ink it with carbon black and see how it goes. So for the elasticity, I finally did, I don't want to say break it in because that sounds kind of rough, but I did use it quite a bit wherein I got used to how to use the elastic nib. When I first got it, it was really stiff. And I was a little bit hesitant to not flex it too much. I'm used to my Pilot FA nib in the 742 model, so it's even softer. So compare that to this is a whole different experience. This year is like it writes so fast. There's some railroading obviously, but the times really spread. This you have to really write with it every day and get used to the feel of it. Right now I am used to it. I would say if you flex it, it is in between JoWo Extra Fine and the Fine. So it's not fully too fine because I don't flex it that much. It's like a little bit step higher than the Extra Fine. So I do have a JoWo Extra Fine nib, just regular Extra Fine. And without flexing the Flex Extra Fine, it's a lot thinner than their regular Extra Fine. So that is something to note as well. I like writing with it without flexing because I get a really nice precise line. Not as precise as a Japanese Fine, nowhere near Japanese Extra Fine, because I have Sailor Extra Fine in the gold variant, which is tiny, so skinny, and the Kakuno Extra Fine is even skinnier. So nowhere near those two. This is definitely a Western Extra Fine, a wet writing Western Extra Fine. So that is something to note. If you like really tiny characters, then this is definitely not it. Leonardo does do extra fine. So if that is something you're interested in, you can look into that. It does come in both steel and gold. I've been on their website way too much. I need to cut down on that time because right now, if I press the L key on my laptop, it pulls up the Leonardo website. So yeah, that's where I'm at currently. I would say the Extra Fine has good control. Even though it's a wet writing pen, it's not slipping all over the page. Again, I have only used medium to dry inks. I have used pens a lot, so I can make these judgments. Even with the wet ink, I don't think this would just slip and slide all over the page, because if you put a really wet ink in Pilot Capless, there is a chance of it slipping all over. But this is not this. It is precise without being rigid. Now it's not as stiff anymore. Now the best part, the weightedness. It is quite weighty. It's a hefty pen. Nice. It's like really, it's a substantial, you're writing with a fountain pen kind of experience, you know, which is what I really like. If you're someone who doesn't like that, your hand gets tired, then this is definitely not it for you. So the alumina finish, I don't know if it's alumina. I've been saying both. I'll put on screen which exactly it is. I would say it gives industrial vibes, but I would say elegant industrial vibes. Because when compared to Lamy, I would say this Lamy 2000 also has that industrial look to it. But I would say the Lamy also has industrial vibes to its design. But comparing these two industrial designs, this is more minimalistic and nicer looking. I'll say it. Yeah, it is nicer looking. Come on. But the Lamy is more of a brutalist industrial design, which I really like. This is specifically what I was going for, what I wanted. You know, but that's just that I'm comparing similar vibes, thoughts to the design, but yeah. I would say there was some comparison in terms of the industrialness of the design. I hope I put it in, I hope I explained that well. It makes sense in my head. Hopefully, it made sense to you guys. The aluminium finish, I would say, is more of a warm silver. So there's a cool tone silver, then there's warm tone silver, and then neutral. This is more neutral to warm leaning because if you look at the Kaweco aluminium or the Colotino aluminium, those are cool tone, bright silver. They're like the clear silver. I hope I'm making sense about that. But those are really bright, clear silver. This is more warm. And with the gold finish, I think the warmth of both of them really matches well. I think if it was a really bright, clear silver, I think it would maybe clash a bit, or maybe it would be like a contrast. But currently, since they're both warm toned, they really go well together harmoniously. I'll add in a sunlit picture. It looks like melted white gold in sunlight. It's a very beautiful, beautiful pen, and it feels really nice and substantial in hand. And it definitely feels like a luxe pen, which is good because it is very expensive. That's like the main con. The only con that I can think of this pen is the price. That's it. Otherwise, design, aesthetics, weight, the writing experience, all of it is, I really love it. So finally, I would say if you're someone whose hands get easily fatigued with weighted pens, then this is definitely not for you at all. If you like to do long writing sessions, if you really like the look of it, you don't mind the price, and you can do shorter writing sessions, 30 minutes or so, then definitely go for it. It'll be fine. But if you want to do longer writing sessions, then your hands can get tired. Mine don't get tired that easily, but after a while, I mean, you're writing, it hurts. The muscles in your hands start hurting. But I really like it. I don't mind the weight. I like it. I actually really appreciate the weight. It feels like I'm writing with a fountain pen, you know? So for me, it's a good balance of value and experience because the threads, I mentioned it in my unboxing, threads are just wow. I haven't experienced this kind of capping and uncapping. I think this is the smoothest fountain pen in terms of the threads, okay? In terms of the threads, it's the smoothest fountain pen I have. I would say if you are very well versed with JoWo nibs and you love JoWo nibs, this is definitely lives up to that standard. I think they have really good quality control. I haven't heard any bad things about the nib, specifically the JoWo nib. I haven't heard any bad things about it, and the pen body itself is amazing. Even the Fogalia and the lilac bodies, my pen friends have them and they love them. So if you're looking into the Leonardo pens, then a lot of people recommend it. I recommend it. 1 week out of the sleeve and there are no scratches, but it doesn't oh my god, the most important thing, I didn't mention this in the unboxing either, but this does not cap. So even if you're ready to risk the scratches on the pen body, it doesn't cap. Like, okay, it stays on but then off. It doesn't cap. So if you're a serial capist, then this pen is definitely not for you. I do cap my pens, but I also don't always need to cap. So some pens, it's fine. I'm also slowly moving towards not capping my pens. Like I'm getting used to the idea of holding the cap in my left hand and writing. So this pen definitely is pushing me towards that as well. This is also not for left-handed people because it's a wet writing pen, and even with the dry ink, it puts too much ink on paper, so it will smudge as you're writing. So that is something to note as well. So yeah, those are all the points I have. Maybe I'll do a 3-month review because I do want to, or maybe since I said I'll do a 3-month review, it will probably end up being 4 months. But I'm going to add in platinum carbon black. And you know what? Yes, I will. I will use Shukuro. I will link it with Shukuro. So platinum carbon black, Shukuro, and one of the Iroshizuku inks. I'm leaning towards Yungyo. So those 3 inks I will use up in this pen, and then I'll come back in the 3-month review, 4-month review, and I'll give more of a thorough. I don't know. This was a good enough review, I think. I will add more thoughts to it. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like, comment, anything. So I'll reply. And yeah, subscribe if you think this was useful. Okay, bye.